Hi, I'm Ray. I'm one of the careers consultants here at Royal Holloway Careers and Employability, and I'm here now to share some of the insights I've got from working with fast streamers over the past few years to help you get the best chances you can get when applying for the civil service fast stream. So today I'm just going to go through a bit briefly first the aims of the fast stream, what's this all about, why is it different to other schemes, then the different schemes within the fast stream so you can think about which ones you want to apply for, and then we're going to go through the details of the application process. So first of all, what is the aim of the fast stream? Um, it's important for you to work out whether this really is something that you want. So the fast stream is a graduate scheme along with many others, and it's an award-winning graduate scheme. But what I really want you to get from this is the fast stream is all about having an emphasis on leadership. It's about pushing you forward and up, fast streaming you through to senior levels within the civil service. So it's not just about a kind of job that you're going into, it's about streamlining you into high level work within the sector, and that's the public sector, that's the civil service. So you might be thinking about the fast stream because you're interested in government and politics. What's really important to remember here is that the civil service, although highly engaged with government and politics, is all about integrity and neutrality. So you're politically independent as a fast streamer, you're politically independent as a civil servant. You are working for the people, serving the government, whoever that government might be. And the focus of the fast stream is that it's giving you the widest possible experiences and the deepest experiences that you can get in order to progress quickly to become the future leaders. So, what you do is a series of 6 month rotations that give you insights into different areas, departments, people, and contexts that the civil service work in. You get thrown right in the deep end, you work on a variety of roles, and you get to interact with government, with industry, with the private sector, um, and you get to learn things in one department, then move through to another. So, another factor is that you do have the options of doing your placements and your postings, they call them, in different locations. So, you will usually be expected to do at least one posting in another location other than London. However, if you have any circumstances that restrict you and mean that you can't leave the London area because you have caring responsibilities to your family, for example, the Civil Service Fast Stream is one of the best equality and diversity employers in the country, and they will adapt around your circumstances if you talk to them about it. So you might be all over the place. Fast streamers I've spoken to have been in Andover, Kingston, Liverpool, Southend, and obviously London. And they've worked for, Department of Foreign Affairs, they've worked for local councils, they've worked for the military, they've worked for UK Borders, the Home Office, Department for Work and Pensions, the police, and obviously on a lot of Brexit related issues, and certainly recruiting next year, they're going to be taking on a lot of people to work on Brexit. Now, the way that the fast stream works is that you start on a salary that's usually sort of 25 to 28k, and after a couple of years, you'll get a promotion with a salary going up to around £32,000. And the programs are generally 4 years, although some of them are 5 years if they involve the opportunity to get a qualification or to do a placement in industry or in a charity. But either way, when you finish the fast stream after 4 or 5 years, you're able to go into what the civil service call a grade 7 role. And these roles are generally senior management roles, and they're on 45 to £50,000 salaries. So this is very much about a scheme that's giving you the chance to really become the leader that you could be. So this is where to go if you want to get a broad sense of lots of different areas and progress your career quite rapidly. Now, the scheme is all about, and this is part of why it's won so many awards, it's all about the focus on just finding the right people. So they are welcoming applications from diverse backgrounds. They are in many cases open to applications for students who have got 2 2s in their degree. They're really looking for people to show themselves in the application process, being themselves, being a leader, whatever that is so far, and coming together to have fun and really throw themselves into work. So um, this is what you need to do, is to be showing yourself as all that you are, and then they will work out whether you're the right person for them. So it's not so much about your experience or your qualifications as such, it's about who you are as a person. um, Now, when you apply, initially you need to make an application register online. Now, all that requires, and you've only got another couple of weeks to do this, all that requires is that you need to put in your name and your email address initially online and which schemes you want to apply for. So you can apply for 4 different schemes. Then you need to choose which ones you might want to go for. Now, one thing that you might want to think about when you're choosing which scheme you apply for is the fact that some of these have many, many more places available on them than other ones, and some of these are much more competitive than other ones. Now, for example, there's about 80% of the roles fall into the generalist scheme. And so one of the things that the fast streamers have really highly recommended this year is that you do put the generalist scheme as one of your choices. Another reason for this is that some of the specialist streams actually involve you needing to do an extra stage in the recruitment process, or they might involve you needing to have a specific grade that's slightly higher in your degree. So you can use the generalist scheme as a bit of a backup option. You will need to identify 4 that you want to go for, and you will need to put them in order of preference. So this is the first thing you need to work out. And then you can go through to other ones, to the next stages of the recruitment process. But initially, all you need to do is put these down, and then you'll have 5 days before you have to do the next stage. When there's plenty of information if you're on the FastStream website about all of the different schemes. Some of them, like the economics or the science and engineering, require a specific degree. Some of them, such as communications or I think human resources, offer a particular qualification as part of it. The finance one actually offers a accountancy qualification. So depending on what you're looking for, that will influence which schemes you want to go for. Something worth bearing in mind is that most of the schemes also have the opportunity for you to do a 6-month secondment into the private or charity sector, so you can get a sense of what it's like outside of the fast stream as well. And when you're looking at doing this as a finalist, you could also think about the fact that you could put yourself in for the summer diversity internship program additionally, to give you extra chances. So what are your chances when you're applying? Well, what we have is thousands and thousands and thousands of people who start off the process. Not everyone completes every stage of the process, and not everyone passes through to to the end stage. So it's actually only about 4% of people who do that initial registration who get placed on the scheme. But some of them do, and here's Balraj. He was a Royal Holloway student and he made it onto the scheme. So there's some living proof. We had Rosalie in this week talking about her experience, also a Royal Holloway graduate. So we certainly do get people onto the scheme. And one of the things that the fast streamers who were presenting this week were talking about was saying that neither of them thought that they would be one of those 4%. So, give yourself the chance to be one of those people, but give yourself the strongest way of getting in. So what's the trick in getting in? Well, no one really knows, because what they're looking for is you as a person and whether you're the right kind of person. So what you don't need to do is stress out trying to prepare a CV or an application form. There's no particular trick to this. All you can do is put yourself in the running, showing yourself as who you are, and doing that with the awareness of the competencies that they're interested in, and that will give you the strongest chance of getting through. And we'll talk through the application processes, the steps that you can take, and the competencies that they're looking for now. So in the application process, like I said, there is no application form. There's no CV that you have to do, and there isn't a huge amount of preparation. So you can really just go for this. Now, there are some online test stages that you go through first. One of the really great things about these stages is that you do not have a time limit. So you have to do them within 5 days, but when you're actually doing it, you're not restricted in terms of how long you spend on the test. So that opens it up quite nicely for you. One of the other things that we really recommend is, because the Fast Stream are a disability confident employer and they're an equality and diversity employer, please, if you have any disability or learning difficulty, tell them from the outset, and they will make every adjustment that they could possibly make in order to help you get extra time at any of the stages and do the best that you possibly can once you're in the application process. So firstly, we've got your online registration. Then you've got to do 2 online tests. Now, one of these is a situational judgment test, and that is where they're going to give you scenarios. We'll look at one of these in a moment, and another's a behavioural one. Now, you don't need to do any preparation for the behavioural one. It's just about seeing how you would respond to different things. Then there's an e-tray exercise, which is focused on decision making. So if you get through the first online tests, it unlocks the next stage in the online portal that will give you 5 days to complete the e-tray. This is like a simulation inbox where you've got to decide what to do with different messages. If you're successful at that stage, you get unlocked a link to a video interview that you will have 5 days to complete. If you're successful then, you may go through to an online application form, and in that you will have 7 days. The questions will depend on which schemes you have applied for, and if you've gone through to the next stage for multiple schemes, you may have more questions to fill in here, but you will have 7 days to work on those. And of course, when you're working on them, you're welcome to come into the Careers Service and get our thoughts to help you with that. Once you complete all of those stages, you get invited to an assessment centre. And at the assessment centre, you do a lot of group work activities, and this is where they'll really make the final judgments on who they want to put in the scheme. On the 30th of October, we will have fast streamers coming and talking about the assessment centre. So if you get through to that stage, please do come along to this event and get some tips before you go into your assessment centre. Following the assessment centre, depending on which scheme you've gone for, you may have a final selection process, which might be an individual interview or more detailed questioning that's about the specific area. So if you're going into comms, it might be asking you to talk about some tweets of how you would go about a campaign. Now, after all of that, you may get a place on the scheme, which will be fantastic. If you've proven yourself, though, you may also get a place that is just through their direct appointment scheme. So they might not think you're an ideal fast streamer right now, but they might give you a different job within the civil service that will still effectively kickstart your career. So today I'm just mostly going to focus on thinking about the video interview and the initial online tests. Although I would say with the e-tray there are practices that you can do if you look online, and that's really all about decision making. With the application form, please come in. The Careers Service can help you check that over, and with the assessment centre, we can help you prepare for that, and fast streamers will be on campus later in the month for you to get help with that. Now, the key thing that you need to do to prepare for this is to familiarise yourself with the civil service competency framework. Now, these competencies are all to be found online through the government website, Civil Service Competency Framework, and This is a very big document that has a lot of detail in it, and it is absolutely worth you reading it. So you want to get familiar with these competencies. Now, they are grouped according to empowering, inspiring, and confident. So in empowering, we're talking about delivering results, and this is about achieving commercial outcomes, delivering value for money, managing a quality service, and delivering at pace. The inspiring ones are about setting direction. So that's about seeing the bigger picture, changing and improving, and making effective decisions. And through the confidence strand, we've got engaging people, leading and communicating, collaborating and partnering, building capability for all. And in the civil service, they are looking for everyone to embody those values. And that's what makes a really good civil servant. So the best preparation you can do is to familiarize yourself with these competencies and spend time thinking about examples of when you have used those competencies. These do not have to be amazing things in the workplace. They need to be times when you have shown yourself as a person to be the sort of person who has these values, when you've shown that you collaborate well with people, for example. Now, they assess those competencies in different ways through the process. So here we've got the situational judgment tests. This is one of the first stages of the online tests. And it's basically where they're going to give you scenarios. It's done online. You're given scenarios that are like what you might encounter as a civil servant, and you have to rate them according to the most and the least effective ways of approaching that scenario. Now, they do have these practice tests online, so please go to the civil service website and go through the tests. And see what you're getting a feel for. On Moodle, under Moodle, My Courses, Careers and Employability, you also have a section called Psychometric Tests, which gives you more opportunity to practice these. And there are other examples online that you can practice for the civil service tests. So we would really recommend familiarizing yourself with the format of these tests and remembering you're partly going on gut instinct, but you're not under any time pressure. So just choosing what feels right to you and doing a few practices to start getting a feeling of what's most effective and what's least effective. Here we've got C as most and A as least. So you can start thinking, what does that mean in terms of what the fast stream is looking for? So yeah, please do practice those and give yourself the strongest chance of getting through. So video interview stage. Assuming you get through to those tests, you then get a link to do a video interview, and you have 5 days in which to complete it. The interview will be about 20 minutes long. It'll have about 8 questions. It will be talking about a combination of your experience, your motivation, and your strengths. So, big tip from a fast streamer is make sure that you've practiced your answer for why you want to join the civil service fast stream. So you need to be able to tell the story of your motivation, why you want to do this. The other thing is you need to be really aware of your strengths. So this is about what's good, what you're good at, what energizes you, what really gets you going as a person. Now, the best way to raise your awareness to your own strengths is this website, www.jobme.com, and that's got a quiz that you can do. It's free to do, and it will come up with some pointers of the strengths that you've got. Now, once you know what your strengths are, we'd recommend that you spend some time actually thinking about examples of, why is it said that's my strength? When's a situation that I actually used that strength, that quality? And once you can sort of practice familiarizing yourself with those qualities, then you can practice talking about yourself in the context of this. Now, the other thing is to practice some examples from your experience. So the competencies they're going to be assessing through the video interview are collaborating and partnering, building capability for all, and managing a quality service and delivering at pace. So think about some nice, neat answers that give examples of that. And when you're preparing those answers, remember the STAR structure. So that's the situation, the task, the action, and the result. So there's preparation in terms of content to be doing here. And if you go on Moodle under interviews, you can get a lot of tips around that and how to prepare your examples. there's also a lot to be thinking about in terms of practicalities. How are you going to find a quiet enough room to record this in? How do you have a clear background behind you? Um, and how do you make sure that you're positioned well and wearing the right clothes for this activity? So I would recommend that you plan and prepare a nice stable internet connection for where you're going to record it. If you're having trouble, let us know at the Careers Service and we might be able to find a room for you to book in. Now, the other thing about this video interview is that it's really weird. It's not like a Skype chat. You're not talking to someone that you're interacting with. You're actually just seeing something where a question comes up on the screen and you're recording yourself answering it. So it feels a bit unnatural. And I would highly, highly recommend that you practice this interview technique. And we have something called Interview Stream. You can access it through Moodle. I suggest you record yourself, practice it. You can evaluate yourself against it, so you can see and give yourself some sort of feedback and ideas for improvement. But also, if you want to book in at the Careers Service, we can watch your video back with you and see, any ways that you can improve it. So what you really want to be thinking about is how to talk about your experience, but also talk about what you enjoy generally, what you generally find motivating. The other big tip on this that a fast streamer gave us this week was actually don't worry if it goes wrong. So she actually had a question where she totally flaked. She couldn't get the answer right. She stumbled on her words. She didn't make a good answer at all. She thought, that's it, I'm done. But she carried on and answered the next questions. And then she found out that actually she still managed to get on the scheme. So they really are looking overall for resilience that helps you keep going like that. They're looking for enthusiasm. They're looking for positivity. So just give it your all and go for it. So thinking about what your next steps are going to be, hopefully you're going to go practice some of these techniques that are in the recruitment process and also spend some time really familiarizing yourself with the competency framework. Ultimately, all they're looking for are positive, enthusiastic people who are keen to collaborate, who are passionate about the values of diversity, and who have good resilience, who are going to be able to take bounce backs. They are not looking for work experience. They're looking for self-awareness. They just want to see that you have been thinking about things and want you to be looking for further development and want you to be aspiring towards leadership. They want to find out through this process how your brain works, how you get to a solution. It's not so much about the answers that you're going to give, but it's about how you give those answers and who you convey yourself as being through that. And another top tip is to prepare thinking about what your failures might be when something's gone wrong and what your biggest weaknesses might be, because they really want to know the whole of you and they want you to show them that you are self-aware, that you're not just trying to say you're the best person ever. They want to show that you're a real person. So good luck.